let's go to this story. We got news. Aaron J. Danielson died from gunshot wound to the chest, medical examiner says. I mean, we all pretty much knew it. There's a few things that I really want to talk about here. And I want to get into that. There's a tweet prior where they're trying to liken what's going on to Nazi Germany, blaming Trump supporters for this. This is crazy. They're posting fake videos from they're real video. They're posting videos from someone else defending that crazy guy in Portland who slashed 3 people.
Whoa.
And they're claiming it was him, and it's not. Yeah, and it's a top comment
That's
on
dangerous.
the Reddit post. They're saying that this guy was defending that murderer dude. It's not true. They're just lying. That's crazy to me. And that's part of what I was saying about how they like don't Google search things. They don't care. I just at a certain point, either we fire all these fake journalists or we just accept they're doing it on purpose.
That's the only thing I can assume, because every time I see something like that, all it takes is 15 seconds of Google searching and the right, search term, and I can come up with what I need.
This is the funniest thing about like my job is that I get hit up by people who are like, thank you for like doing the work and fact checking. I see reviews where they're like, Tim always makes sure he has proper sources. I'm like, it's true, I do, and it's not hard.
It's possible, yeah. It's not.
I mean, to be fair, I think it is fair to say I do know where to go to find breaking stories.
Right.
I do have a better assessment of like what's true, and I do. A lot of people don't like this. They claim I don't do journalism when I'm literally verifying videos and fact checking and finding the sources for photos and videos. And I won't report on stories if, the sources are questionable. So it's true. But it's amazing to me that often like fact checking a story requires like a Google search. I find a Twitter video, I find a corroborating tweet, and then I see a story in the New York Times and their source is law enforcement. I'm like, looks good to me.
Yeah.
But then these other journalists are just like, well, my grandma said that this guy was a Nazi,
It's because they're working backwards. I'm fairly convinced at this point that they are starting from their conclusion and they're working back. And it doesn't matter what gets in the way. They're going to say whatever needs to be said to get to their conclusion.
That's the craziest thing to me. At a certain point, they've come on, man. The American people, if you want to pull the George Carlin thing when he said, imagine how stupid the average person is. Now realize half of them are stupider than that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. George Carlin was a legend.
It's true.
I love that guy. And right. I get the point. It's true. However, people aren't that stupid. Like Joe Biden to come out and be like, Donald Trump, Joe Biden literally said your supporters coming out and like intimidating, threatening people. And I'm like, do you think that? All right, listen. Maybe the bottom 10% of intelligence are sitting there going like, whoa, those guys wearing all black and screaming Black Lives Matter were white nationalist Trump supporters. That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
But come on, that's got to be like, that's like Forrest Gump wasn't even that dumb. You know what I mean?
Those people who are saying that, those people who are agreeing with that are also working backwards. They have the conclusion. The conclusion is orange, mad, bad. Whatever supports this.
I know, I get it. But like, how do you have 3 months of footage of people screaming Black Lives Matter? And then Joe Biden goes, listen, those guys, actually, Trump supporters. And they just go like, oh, now that's right. They were Trump supporters doing that.
Maybe we esteem politicians too highly, because I can't imagine someone else saying that and getting away with it.
I guess. Maybe he's counting on people who don't pay attention and they just see the headlines.
Yeah, definitely. Low information.
Well, so here's the first thing I want to mention, right? If you watched my earlier segments, then you know a little bit about this. But the guy who was with Aaron Danielson, his name, they called him Jay, I guess his middle initial, said that they were walking the other direction when someone yelled, we got him right here. We got a couple right here. Pull it out. Here? Yeah. They turn around. Bang, bang. So it seems like these guys, we now know, based on the witness, it was the far leftists who yelled, we got a couple right here.
Yep.
Pull it out. It wasn't them. And this guy, Aaron Danielson, turned around, and it does look like in this really crappy, grainy video that he fires mace or whatever. The left is trying to claim that was self-defense, but based on the witness statement for now, it's the only statement we have, they turned around and saw a guy raising a gun to him, and so he went for his mace.
Right.
And it's like, man, maybe you see someone raising the weapon, but you don't know what to do. You have a quarter of a second to decide.
Yeah, what are you supposed
And so
to
he
do?
raised the mace and then took 2 to the chest. So this guy was targeted based on the witness statement. I'll tell you what, the people who are trying to argue that the far leftist guy was defending himself from mace, it's like, you're going to be hard pressed to convince based on that video that you saw someone drawing mace and therefore you decided to end their life. You could try and argue that I couldn't tell what it was. I saw him raising something at me, so I defended myself. But it was almost the exact same time, and they approached him yelling, "We got a couple right here."
Yeah, how do you explain the audio?
And then he fled as fast as he could. Mm-hmm. So apparently, this is crazy too. I guess his sister is the one who turned him in. We got this from the Daily Mail. Portland Antifa protester who is under investigation for shooting of Patriot Prayer Trump supporter after being turned over to police by his own sister. So apparently, he was reported to police by his sister, who recognized him in photos and videos from Saturday night. This was not like, listen, the Trump supporters have a right to drive their cars around and say silly things. That's just a fact.
Of course.
And so this is where it gets really, really frustrating in terms of the national narrative from the left. They're like, I saw a journalism professor, her name is Emily Bell. I know her, I think she's a nice person, but she tweeted, I had to call a family member scared because, fake militias are invading our towns. I never thought I would see something like this. And then a bunch of other journalists are like, oh, I'm so scared. I hope they're safe. And my response was, yeah, I feel the same way. I had to deal with that several times when the riots were happening in Chicago with my family. So the police definitely need to shut this down. But where's the outrage over the fact that for months these cities have been under siege? Were you not concerned about your family member when the far left was burning down buildings? Yeah, it's Portland. There's been riots going on in residential neighborhoods for months. They physically attacked a woman at her house. You didn't think to call your family member and be concerned then?
Maybe they think that they'll be left because they're special, because they agree with their points of view. Like, if you paint the right things on your wall, you'll be left alone.
I just gotta say it. I think journalists are really dumb people.
It's also possible.
Yeah, I do. So, and the reason I think this is, early on in the industry, I'm talking like a long time ago, and I guess journalism's been around for a really long time. You needed to know a lot to understand the world and create compelling information. I think one of the reasons that like this show does well, and I think one of the reasons probably a lot of people watch, is because I do a lot of research all the time.
Right.
And so I'm very quick to be able to cite or reference certain things, and it allows me to make better predictions because I've seen a bunch of different things and I can see a lot of the variables. Today it's super easy. You don't want to, these news organizations don't want to pay a lot of money, so they hire some college kid for dirt. The kid has no skills, and they're like, we don't care. Just write negative things about Trump, and we're golden. Actually, Ryan Long.
I was just thinking of that.
So Ryan Long, the comedian, put out a new segment. It was today, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so good. It's called what is it? It's like a new news.
When Trump leaves. What news is going to do when Trump leaves.
And it's a bunch of people sitting around all talking about their anti-Trump articles if he wins. But then it turns out he loses and Joe Biden wins, and they're all cheering. And then it's like 1 month later and they're all sweaty, like, I need something. What do we have?
I got 9 shares on this article about the vice president being a nice lady. She looks good today. The press conference went smoothly.
And then someone's like, I got an article about Trump. And he's like, no, Trump's lost. He's just a guy now. No one cares. And then he gets a text message saying, like, they're shutting down your office, and he just wanders off. But it really is true. So what happens when you get journalists who don't know how to do research and who don't care to do research? That's the big issue. They're not passionate about their jobs. They're lazy, and they just want to get through the day. Listen, when you've got an office full of people, like all these lefty journalists who are socialists or whatever, they all tend to be supporting this stuff. They don't want to work.
Right.
The last thing they want to do. They're like, I shouldn't have to work. They're like, we should have a 4-day work week.
Rent is fascism.
It's like, dude, I work all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Not because I'm doing it because it's you know what, man? I don't know what they really want to do with their lives. Do they want to just sit around and have teen crumpets or something?
Probably. So this is something that I saw a little bit when I was working in nursing too. There were people who were in the field that I was like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should not be here. You should find a different job.
Why? What were they doing?
They were insensitive. They were impatient. They were really sometimes dishonest. And I was like, no, you shouldn't be doing this. You should not be in this field at all. And I feel like all these lazy journalists, like if you don't want to do research and if you're not interested in historical stuff that happened, it's not the right field for you. Find something else.
You know what they want? It's a quick path. Actually, let me start over. This is what I've been talking about. Politicians, they're not good enough at anything to become noteworthy. So they're like, if I can just tell people whatever it is they want to hear and I get elected, then I'll have my name in the history books.
And I will have, yeah.
Same thing with journalists.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are narcissists who are like, everyone should know my opinion and I shouldn't have to do any work for it.
Blue check syndrome.
Blue check syndrome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a lot of blue checks,
They're famous.
No, I was going to say like the things they do, the unethical things they do, desperate for followers and retweets and everything. And I'm just like, I roll my eyes. I'm like, yeah, really? I've had people hit me up asking like, how do you get more followers? And I was like, I don't know.
Do good work.
Dude, I was just like, you know what I do? I go on Twitter and I just like, I just tweet things. I don't even think about it. I rarely respond to people relative to what I post. And I just will like see an article and I'll be like, and I'll just like tweet it out. And that's it.
Well, this is interesting.
So what a lot of these journalists end up doing is like replying to people because they're like, do the reply guy thing.
I don't like the idea of depending on someone else for your like engagement. Why would you not go out and talk to people on your own? This makes sense to me.
They're not good enough at anything to actually earn followers.
I'm starting to agree, and I don't think they really have enough original thought to really be famous on Twitter on their own.
Look at these reply guys who will like whenever Trump tweets, they respond immediately. But look at their sole tweets. Like go to their Twitter account and look at their just regular tweets, and there's no engagement.
They're boring. Like they really don't have original thought that they tweet out. All they do is reply.
No, I mean, even what I mean is they might tweet something at Trump like you stink and you're orange, 1 million retweets. But then they'll tweet something like I like a grilled cheese sandwich and it gets 10.
Yeah.
Showing whatever it is they're doing, they're getting little to no engagement. But I'll tell you what, man, some people are making insane amounts of money, like 6 figures. No joke.
On Twitter?
Yeah, from selling stuff.
Oh, okay.
And donate to my Patreon, and here's my PayPal.
Yeah.
That's the creepy game of Twitter. People need to realize this because I've been looking at some of these activist threads, and you'll see it. They'll post something like, "Can you believe our president is orange? Why is our president orange? Isn't that dumb?" And it's got 1 million retweets. The next tweet is, "Donate to my PayPal to support me." If they get 100 million impressions on that, and they got that link, and they could probably get a couple grand.
Yeah.
I doubt they're actually getting anything near that, but if they get $50 every time they do it, they're incentivized to produce the most psychotic garbage imaginable.
I don't like monetizing that.
Yeah, I know. Well, they want them retweets. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.